Friends, I am sorry to vent, but I am sick and tired of strangers telling me to get my kids off their dog at the public park. Call me old-fashioned, but in the Devlin family, we still ride dogs. I mean, kids are kids. If there is a dog in the area, they're going to climb onto it and ride it like a fast little horse. A lot of dog owners love it, but many times people give me dirty looks and eye rolls like my kids don't belong at the park on their dogs. And then today, little Jackson climbed aboard this adorable Rottweiler and the crazed owner starts yelling at me. Of course, I ignored him. Maybe you and your dog wish you lived in a world with no children, but I live in the real world where my kids ride your dogs. And if you don't like it, don't take your dog to the park where kids are. Don't bring your dog to the coffee shop. Don't walk your dog near the library. Don't tie your dog up outside the bodega because children will be there and they will ride your dog. And if there's a kid riding your dog, let go of the leash. If he needs to steer, he can tug on the ears. I mean, I remember when I was a little girl, I rode dogs all the time. I once rode a beautiful yellow lab right down Gilbert Street in Duxbury, Massachusetts, fast as the wind. And did anyone yell? No. They waved and honked and said, "Way to go, Gracie, ride that dog." They put it in the newspaper that Sunday. You guys get it. Of all the photos I post, the dog riding ones are your favorites, judging by the comments you leave on my blog. But nowadays, it seems like all of society would rather pick on a mom for letting her kids have a little fun. After that Rottweiler owner complained to the police, a cop actually got involved. He told me to remove my kids from the dog's back. Maybe police departments should be solving murders and robberies instead of trampling on my rights as a mother. Listen, I will never submit to an unjust law. Even if I am arrested and locked up and thrown away in a dungeon, my children will continue to clutch onto every dog they see and ride them full speed while I snap wonderful photos because I refuse to apologize for being a good mom. That's it for now, moms. I'm going to take a frustration nap. In the meantime, remember, the biggest monster in the room is often the tiniest problem in your family.
and gentlemen, you're listening to yet another episode of Rogan Radio live from the friendly confines of Studio A. Here on the friendly confines of Casa La Rogan here in Lumberboard, West Bygod, Virginia.
Hello, everybody.
And as you can tell, we have a full house tonight. Absolute full house. And I'm sharing for the first time in a long time. The first time in a long time, I'm sharing a microphone.
we got a little static electricity going
That
on
was me.
somewhere, buddy.
That was me.
That was Derek moving his phone.
You're listening to yet another episode of Rogan
Okay.
Live from the friendly
Hear that echo?
Studio A.
Is that Derek? How do you mean, buddy? Derek McIntyre.
By the way,
You know what? I tell you what.
By the way, Derek McIntyre for House of Delegates. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hands together.
Not so much an engineer of
So-
the Rogan Radio podcast, but definitely for the House of Delegates. Congratulations.
I can tell you why that happened.
Okay, I would love to know
tell
this
you why
answer.
that
Because you had your head up your hand.
Yeah, I was over there. I had it earlier, and I got up, and I didn't get to mute it yet. So, bang.
Oh,
Hold on.
okay. Well, at least you know the problem. We have a very special episode tonight because we have a couple members of the drum line from Lincoln High School's marching band. We also have the director of Lincoln High School, Fred Channel. Fred, this is your first time in here. What's up, buddy?
Hey,
Welcome.
not much. Enjoying it.
Welcome, Fred. Well,
And we also have Derek over there trying to help Michelle be the director because Darren's not here tonight. What's happening? Okay,
Okay, I think
the
Derek's
timer
got-
didn't go off. I bet.
Oh.
Is that what happened?
Derek
Thank you,
McIntyre
Derek.
of House Delegates.
Derek
Yeah.
McIntyre, House of Delegates.
Just like in
You
the
know what?
studio, you
Let me
elect
tell
him, he will fix things
me
out
tell
there
you.
in West Virginia.
You know what? Let me tell you. No, that's exactly right. Not only can he fix things in studio, but he can also fix things for the state of West Virginia.
Yeah.
That's right.
Derek McIntyre.
Yeah.
48th district.
Wow.
That's right.
House
I'm
of Delegates.
telling you.
It just sucks I'm not able to vote for him. I don't live in the district.
No, no.
Oh, I thought it's because you were a felon.
Hey,
I'm
is
sorry.
that
I'm sorry.
just because I can vote because I'm an immigrant?
Can you vote?
No.
Oh, there's two.
Come on, that's
two of you now that can't
ridiculous.
vote.
They let
Man.
Chinese or Japanese people vote.
And you know what? Hey, listen. Hey, look here. Hey, our very own Chuck Rogan, he did early voting.
I voted yesterday. Have you guys done the early voting yet?
Yep.
Listen, it is absolutely fantastic. It's like going.
I don't have a right.
It's like going to Sheets to do your driver's license or your car registration.
Yeah.
You're in and you're out, and it was fantastic. We went up there at East Point yesterday, and it was a breeze. The only thing you had to do is have your fake birth certificate, fake driver's license, and it was great. No, it was actually.
I tell
We
you
saw him
nice.
digging up other voters there earlier out of
Yeah.
the graveyard.
Can I tell you a quick story about voting?
Yeah.
You know
So
what?
I
We have
vote.
all day.
I vote right here in town, right?
Okay, anyway,
I vote right here in town, right here in Learnport Community
Gotcha.
Center, right? So the kids had some up at Lincoln High School that evening for volleyball or softball. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I went up there, and they had a booth set up right up there by the Commons area where they were still voting, because the polls didn't close till what, like 7 or something like that?
7:30.
7:30?
something like that.
So I was just joking around with this little old white-haired, blue-haired lady up there, and I said, "Hey," I said, "listen, I already voted today. Can I have another sticker? I wanted another I vote sticker."
Right.
She did not, and I was just kind of cutting up
Yeah.
with her. She found no humor.
Really?
No, zero humor. She did not find me funny one bit. So
Neither do
far,
we.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying.
So she
We have a lot
knows
in common.
exactly how we feel.
yeah,
every
she
Sunday.
does. Listen, so far, she called the cops.
Are you serious?
You got the cops on you?
She called the cops on me. The cops came.
Is this a serious story?
This is swear to God. So, so she told one of the guys that worked there that that I was giving her a hard time, and I wasn't. I wouldn't give her. I don't even know her, right? So the cops came. They locked the school down. They wouldn't let anybody in the school. They wouldn't let anybody out of the school. Cops came. I mean, the whole family sitting up there.
Way to go, Todd.
They come up to me. As soon as they walked in the doors, I knew exactly why they were there. So I got up and I walked over, and it's embarrassing because I'll know everybody.
Were you in your
there.
postal uniform?
No, it wasn't.
Dang.
No.
Yeah, that would have been even better.
That's the
I
only
went-
thing that would have made it better.
So I went over there in front of everybody that I knew, and we had it was they kept it pretty discreet, and the guy who was in the altercation that him and I got into the altercation with about this sticker, all about the I voted
It's
today
all about
sticker.
the I voted today
So
sticker.
we smoothed it out. They went home. The guy sat down. I sat down. We had but that was
crazy.
a horrible experience
Well,
Over a sticker.
over a sticker.
When
'cause
was
I
this?
just this
Politics is not funny.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
remember that.
This was probably 3 or 4 years ago.
no kidding.
Yeah,
Did you get the second
all
sticker?
because of a daggone sticker.
Well, if I ever get my hands on a roll of those stickers, I'll make
appreciate
sure you get
I
it.
appreciate it. Thank you. Vote Derek McIntyre.
Yeah, vote Derek McIntyre.
48th district.
Well, now as you can tell, well, once again we have a full house in here. We have Mia, she rarely comes in here, rarely because she doesn't like necessarily the microphone or the fame too much. Mia, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Mia, you know what? We never see Mia. We see Erica all the time. We never see Mia.
I wrote a song about Mia.
Oh, so there's Mia.
Would you like to hear it?
Oh, just sang it.
Do we have a choice?
No.
Yeah, I don't think we have a choice.
Go ahead.
It goes something like this.
Oh, this is
Clean your pipes.
Oh, he's getting ready.
no, I'm not.
Her name's Mia. Yeah. Two times. Mia. Mia. Go.
Mia!
Yeah.
Go you? Go Mia!
Yeah, Mia.
Go Mia! What? Go Mia! Go
Mia.
Go Mia! Mia!
That's a pizza.
M-I-A!
Sounds like I gotta go Mia. Pizza. Ooh. Ooh. Mia. Ooh.
Never leaves the room. Mia!
Yeah. See, how would you think?
Wow. Okay, stop that.
good.
Stop singing now.
It took a long time to make that song.
I
But
like
thanks
it.
for coming in.
That was the worst song I've ever heard in my entire life.
that was not.
You didn't
Trust
have
me.
headphones on. It
Trust
was
me, that was
fantastic.
It
not
was.
the,
Oh yeah, you didn't have the headphones on. You didn't get to hear the jam that we were doing. Oh, okay. And we also have Erica.
Erica.
Hello, Erica.
Erica, we're sharing a microphone.
Disgust me.
I know. She doesn't have headphones on either. So Jimmy, you can just play on that all you want. That's fantastic. He didn't do anything. It's okay.
Erica.
It's okay.
You know,
But
there's a girl I deliver mail to. Her name is Erica. On my brow.
Yeah, okay.
So when I say hi to her, that's how I say it.
Erica.
Hey, Erica. So
You
I'm like,
are one pathetic loser.
That's right. That's right. Hey,
Erica.
before we get started
Perfect
talking,
timing, Jimmy.
before we
Thanks.
get started, tell me who's on here.
Hey-ho.
Let's get this show on the road. Who's on here? Give us
We
where
got
you're
Mike-
on. Give us your
Michael
name.
Salerno's on here.
What's up, Mike?
Sandy
Michael.
Dutcher.
Whoa.
Oh, Sandy
Go ahead.
Dutcher. Who
Olivia
is that?
Spina is on here.
Hello, Olivia.
Renee Henning. Hello, Renee. Renee.
Danny Bach.
Is that how you say that? B-O-C-K?
Yeah,
Bach?
Bach.
Mia?
Bach.
Is that right, Mia? I think she knows you. We
I
can't.
gotta make a shout out to Kevin. I just talked to him the other day.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good,
All
Bruce.
right.
Yep.
Joyce Maxwell's on there.
Yeah, that's right.
Straight
Mark
from
Walsh.
Florida.
Mark Walsh.
Mark Walsh. Yeah.
By the way, we had a party in Mark Walsh's house
Yep.
in his yard on Friday night when we went down to go see the band.
Thanks for the invite.
Thanks.
Scott Swagger's on here.
You had an invite, dude.
Yeah.
I know, but you know what?
You
When I saw
backed out
that,
at the last minute.
I can't remember. Oh, my daughter's birthday. Sorry. But you know what? When I saw that picture of all you guys having a good time,
Yeah.
and I didn't see me in there, I was very upset.
We should have superimposed you.
Yeah.
And whose fault is that?
No.
It was my daughter's fault.
And there's a reason why we looked like we were having a good time on that picture.
It's because Todd wasn't there.
Hey, Todd, I wasn't there, so I wasn't
Oh,
there.
yeah. Bruce wasn't there either.
Bruce was in Clarksburg.
Yeah, I wasn't
I
there.
was right here in
Because you were at the community outreach thing, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
now tell me real quick about that, and then we're going to talk to the
I
fellas.
actually get to witness pretty much, meet the homeless people. People needs some extra helps. I mean, they come out, they're offering free pizza, free drinks, waters.
So you were at
Free, I'm giving away free clothes and blanket, even brand new blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were actually doing
Very
good
nice.
construction.
Yeah, he was.
Not like Todd.
No, I was
Right.
just standing
Bruce
there
was
actually,
he was
I-
interpreting. He was an interpreter.
Yeah, I was actually there. I not only just to actually witness it, but just try to say hi.
It's kind of amazing
Yeah.
though when you actually go see. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but when you actually see that in real life and meet people
Yeah.
that are really going through that in real life, it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the thing is, I mean, during a day I work, and I usually do not pay much of attention, but just standing in the one place, them actually come and see them, it's kind of different.
Let me ask you
absolutely.
one. Hey, did you wear your Rogan Radio T-shirt?
No, I just went to
Oh, Bruce, what a perfect opportunity.
Jimmy
to
has
plug
something.
the show, man.
So did we invite Mark Walsh? He's saying we didn't get an invite. He said I didn't get an invite either, Todd.
Mark,
So did
thank
we
you,
invite
Mark.
him
No,
when we
no,
asked him
Mark
to
had
use
the
his yard?
invite. He just had to fulfill the obligation of earning a paycheck first.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what that problem
See,
was.
Mark lives right up there by the stadium.
Yes,
and
he
what
does.
Mark didn't know is he's got the best parking in town. So there was like
Yeah, he does.
18 cars parked in Mark's yard while he was at work. You know what? Wink, wink. Sorry
Yeah.
about
You
that.
know what? I do have to apologize. I don't know how fast I took off out of his yard.
So there might be two big old giant tire tracks going through his yard.
I tried. I
Chad.
had it in four-wheel
Yeah,
drive. I
Chad.
tried to
I had
goose
it in
it.
four-wheel
Mark, I will
You tried to
come
goose
and
it?
Yeah, I tried to just goose it out just a little bit, you know.
Oh.
You know
But
what?
my-
I tore out of that place, but it's Derek's tracks.
Oh, yeah. Well, just to let everybody know, I actually went back and looked and paid attention, and everything
did.
looked good.
That's
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, 4 minutes before halftime. We're videotaping and everything. I got a phone call. My parents was in a wreck, so I was a little.
Yeah, you were a little
You
bit
like,
ready.
I
to
gotta
go.
go, I
I was
go,
trying not to tear anything
You
up
had
and run
reason to
over
tear it
people,
up.
but
And your parents are good.
yeah, parents are good. They're stoved up pretty good and everything. But that's about it.
Oh, good.
Anyway, let's get down to talk to Fred, Tim, and Jacob. Now, you guys are from Lincoln High School's band. You guys are both in the drum line, right? Now, here's a little-known fact. Back in the day, from 86 until, let's see, when did I graduate high school? 96.
You did not graduate high school in '96.
86 until 89, actually. I was actually also in the drum line. And I played tenors. At that point, they were triples, right? And it was nothing like it is today. You guys are doing rudimentary stuff that, some of the crazy stuff, man. Because even the mallets, we actually use mallets on the
Oh,
tenors.
I remember those. Quite
Oh,
well.
and those things
big
were
old rubber disc or those.
Fred, I'm
plastic
telling you,
discs.
those things were made out of they were Ludwigs, and they were like plywood, like 2x4s that they made them. They were heavy.
Oh, and they were huge. Remember at one point in time, they started putting those little drums out there to make them like fivelets. Oh, they're heavy.
Oh,
Yes,
they
I
were
remember
brutal.
those days quite well.
They were brutal. They were absolutely brutal. So you guys, what's going to happen? I understand. First of all, let me tell you something. You guys are good.
Yeah.
No, really. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, the drums are the best part of the band.
Well, then the
If you
entire
don't have the drums,
but the entire band is fantastic. And Fred, you and Julie have done a great job in Shinston and
Absolutely.
Lincoln at the middle
Absolutely.
school. I mean, just from beginning to end. I mean, I've noticed a big difference in just the attitude and just the performance of them. I mean, it's
Well,
fantastic.
we've got good kids. Shinston, we're very blessed with some good kids here in Shinston that we get to teach. So it makes our job very easy.
But now the one thing that I'm jealous of.
oh my good
Just
looks.
one.
The one thing that I'm jealous
My
of, being a
paycheck.
drummer, being a percussionist, right? Being a percussionist is that we never had the flair, and when I was in high school, we never had any of this cool stuff.
It's
you
cool,
guys
like drum line off stuff.
we never had any of that. It was like you guys the only thing that I heard as being a percussionist was you're playing too loud. That's it. That's all I ever heard. All you had to do is keep time, and that was your only job. You were like a bass guitar in a band. Nobody wants to see you. They just want to hear you. That's
be felt,
basically
not
about
heard.
it. Yeah, that's basically about right. So tell me what's going to happen. You guys are heading to Indianapolis?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we're going down. It's called PASIC, and we are competing against other drum lines, and it's going to be awesome. We have a lot of workshops that we're going to, and it's just going to be a great experience.
Heck yeah, man.
Now, when did you actually start playing? Did you start out in percussion?
No, I actually played the trombone first.
Yeah. Now we're talking. There we go.
Oh, no high five. Oh,
Yep.
no high
Derek
five.
was a trombonist
That was
also.
that's
Jacob?
long distance high five.
No, I did. I started as a drummer.
So
yeah.
you're from beginning and end. See, I started out on an alto saxophone, and I went from saxophone to percussion because I thought it was cool.
See, I started out on that little triangle thing that you hit. The little piece of metal triangle,
triangle.
ding, ding. And then I went to the banjo, and then the cymbals and the tambourine.
Well, let me tell you one reason that I got out of playing alto saxophone, which I loved. I can't remember any of the keys now, but Antoinette Ellis, if you know him from over at the Ellis, she was always first chair, and I could never, ever, and my entire goal was to beat her out of that first chair. At that time, the band director was Mr. Oliverio, Mr. O.
Yep.
And I could not knock her out of that seat. So much, in fact, this is a true story.
She's tougher than you.
Two of my best buddies, because we were all friends, but I had Brian Fortney and Chad Wilson. Brian was third chair, Chad was fourth. So we came up with this plan that we were going to knock Antoinette out. They were going to wear her out. They were going to challenge her first, and Chuck was going to come in. By that time, she's already played enough. She's wore out. Chuck's going to get that first seat easy. Well, guess what happened?
Conspiracy.
Brian challenges me right off the bat. I'm like, what? I was like, that's not the plan, man. So then I lose that seat. So now I went from second to third. So then all of a sudden, what happens?
You're terrible.
Oh, yeah, I was. So then all of a sudden, Chad challenges me. Guess what happens?
You went from third to fourth.
I went from third to fourth. I looked at Antoinette, and she went, and you know what?
See, they had it.
I was like, I'm going to go play something I can play. I'm going to go play percussion.
You got together with these two guys to knock her out. They told her. She said, "Oh no,
Probably.
No, we're gonna put Chuck all the way in the back."
Can you guys read music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can actually read it? Mm-hmm. Okay. See, I had to be taught it.
It's because they got a band.
Well, I'm sure they had to be taught how to read music.
Fred,
too.
are there any kids? How many kids do you come in contact with that you actually had to? They're great. They are great musicians, but you almost have to. They don't really. They can't read it, but they can play it.
Oh, there's lots of kids that play by rote. You know, they hear. You know, my son's a good example. He was one when he would hear stuff on piano. I was always very envious because I can't do it. He would hear stuff by ear and just sit down with the piano and be able to play it. And there's a lot of kids out there like that. You know, we have some kids here in our band that sits there and they have to sit there and have other people play it for them to be able before they can play it. It's some people everybody's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing nothing and I ended playing nothing.
Oh well. Yeah, me too, Jim.
Well, I know something.
No. I played the violin. I played the violin in grade school.
Yeah, but
I was good at that.
There are many professionals out there actually do not write or read any music.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? They're professional.
Well, the thing is about music, this is why I love the band so much, is because I get so much more enjoyment out of audio than I ever will video. One thing, like if I hear a song that I really like, there's something in chords or music or whoever composed that, whoever played that, whatever it might be, that if I don't watch the video on purpose, just for the mere fact I don't want to be corrupted in my brain of what the music does in my ear, through what my mind is associating that with a visual. If that makes any sense to you. Yeah. I want to hear it. I don't want to see it. And you guys though, you've been doing this now for what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
5 years.
That's a long explanation for you have a face for radio.
Yeah, we could have just.
Fred, you see what I have to deal with.
I see this. I feel for you.
The only difference between this place and school is I don't have an ISS. I can't even paddle them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you could.
You know.
Are you guys planning on going to college?
Yeah, definitely.
Where are you going to go?
WVU.
Yeah.
WVU for music
But-
therapy.
Are you?
Yeah.
Jacob, what are you going to take?
I want to major in theater. Actually.
Theater. Yeah.
Good job.
See, that's good too. I really like that stuff. So, I mean, but how much do you? I mean, obviously, you like music. When did you know that you were really in tune, say with your ear, anyhow? Because do you listen to a song? Let me ask you this, and I'll ask it this way: when you're in a car or you're listening to the radio, or you got your headphones on, or whatever everybody does these days, can you almost hear what's going to happen before it happens when you listen to a song?
Yeah.
Like you can hear the bass line. You can almost anticipate what's going to happen before it even happens.
Yeah.
Like when I listen to a song, I'll pick out one instrument out of that song, and I can almost zone in on that one instrument, and that entire song makes that song for me. And Michelle's talking about lyrics and things. It's like half the time I don't even listen to lyrics. I'm listening to the actual instruments in that song.
You know what I do? The lyrics are an instrument, right? So a lot of times whenever because I listen to all music, it doesn't really matter what it is, and I will. I don't even listen to the words half the time. I just envision that in my head as being a part that's being played. I do that all the time.
Now I like it when it will associate with different chords and things. But there's something more than likely for me in particular when I listen to a song. There's something so subtle. There's that one guy that gets his 15 seconds of fame, and he comes out of nowhere, and he has this little guitar part. It's like it could be a string or like a straight guitar or something like that. It goes da-da-da-da, and that makes the entire song for me.
Like
that
Todd.
one little bar, maybe 2 bars, more than likely an 8.
Todd does that.
Yeah, I do. I do.
But anyway, tell me about Indianapolis. So you guys are heading. When is this? When does the big shindig happen?
We leave November 15th.
Okay, so it's coming up pretty. In a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
Next
12
week,
days?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday at 8 in the morning.
Wow.
6 hours on a nice charter bus.
Fred, how did they get involved in this?
I've been involved with PASIC since I was in college, and they started this drumline battle, a few years back, and it's just grown. And we were there last year because we went. I try to go every couple of years just to recharge my batteries with percussion, and I was like, we can do this. We can hang with these guys that were there. You know, Ball State University was there. There was a few high schools there. There's a semi-pro group, and I was like, we could, they don't have anything on us.
Right.
Let's do it. And we came back and started talking to a few people, got some money together. You know, Abby McCarty. I don't know if you all know Abby or not, but she took it upon herself, did some fundraising, ended up raising a little over $8,000 for us to go.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And we're close. We've got a few other things to get ready, and this week get through the Veterans Day Parade, and we're off.
That is fantastic.
So you got all the funding that you need?
We're still a little bit short, but we've got all of our bills paid. I'd like to have a little bit of money to come back with a few toys while we're over there. But other than that, all the bills are paid.
Give me a rough estimate.
How much did it cost total?
Yeah.
The charter bus was a little over $4,000. The hotels were between $3,000 and $4,000. So we're probably close to about $10,000 into it.
Wow. That's crazy.
And most of us all been fundraised. I mean, well, not just necessarily fundraised, just donated.
Yeah.
People, people say, "Hey, we're here. You're going." They'll sit there and cut us a check. It's kind of really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. Really, well, I'm not really supposed to say that, but it's the truth.
Now, how long have you been director there at Lincoln for a while?
This is my 10th year. Julie and I came 10 years ago.
10 years.
This is our 10th marching season. It's gone quick.
Now, let me ask you this, and then now you can't be biased, Fred, but I want to ask you to be just for a second, because we have a couple drummers in the studio.
Heck yeah.
When
not me,
because you're not. You're a percussionist by trade.
Yeah.
So is there a little biased, or when you have a band, because your son, he's up WVU.
Yeah, he's a percussion major at WVU.
Yeah. So was there something when you came to Lincoln, you were like, you know what? We're going to have a big percussion section, because you guys have a monster percussion section, and they're very, very tight.
Julie and I have two philosophies. Your band's is only as good as your drumline and your tubas.
Because Julie was a tuba player.
I didn't say because she was a tuba. But you sit there and you've got a rocking drum line. It will pull everybody together. If you're sat there and your drum line's sitting out there blowing chunks, there's not a whole lot you can do to pull a band together.
Right.
Best part. And the kids have already figured out. That's the reason I joined drums. The hot girls date the drummers.
Hey, now we're talking. I was wondering when we were going to get to this part of the conversation. Yeah.
That's why Michelle and I got married. She said, "Listen, I want nothing to do with you." And I said, "Guess what? I was a drummer."
Bang.
She was like, "Bang! We're getting married tomorrow, boys." I was like,
That's the way it works.
That's exactly how it works.
Olivia Spino on here says she's trying out for American Idol next year, and she's going to need our 11th.
We will go with her and help her out all along the way.
We should film it. Oh, it's probably not local, is it?
We'll go wherever we got to go.
RoganRadio road trip.
So, how many people do you actually have in the percussion section now?
20 even.
20.
Bigger than a lot of bands.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What was your very first percussion instrument that you played?
Snare drum.
I started on cymbals.
Cymbals.
All right.
You're on snare now, right? And you're on.
Yeah, snare drum all 4 years.
When you started playing, because you go from like learning quarters to eighths to sixteenths, and then you might get into some riffs or something like that, something something like that. So now, but you guys are doing some crazy junk. I mean, you're doing crazy stuff. I mean, you're playing on each other's. I mean, in the thing that baffles me, Fred, and this is what I don't understand, is where does the balance and the what's the word I'm looking for? The balance. There's a balance, but
the fulcrum,
balance beam. Yeah.
But when you're doing some crazies. I mean, you're hitting like three notes on one swing. I mean, or 3 hits on one snap, and like the rebound, I guess, or how do you control the stick?
Yeah, that's just knowing where your balance point is on the stick. There's going to be a natural balance point somewhere there, and then being able to control everything with your fingers from that point. Sitting there, just sit there and catch it.
And it's fast. How do you keep that in your brain?
I pray a lot.
Right.
Yeah. You don't throw one of them sticks.
That's why we like warm weather. Cold weather's bad for drummers.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever dropped a drumstick?
Hey, check
many times.
You have really?
Many times.
Do you check out the video?
I think
that was
there's
a couple. I saw a couple of them flying.
That was
yeah.
me.
I mean, he did it Friday.
Do you carry like a spare drumstick in yours?
A lot of spares. Yeah.
Really do?
I put them to use. Yes.
Yes. Very nice.
How often
Very
do you
nice.
crack heads?
Such a bully.
Once a year.
That's
Do you?
okay.
Yeah.
Not too bad anymore. They're made out of Kevlar.
Yeah.
They're made out.
Are
of
they really?
Yeah, the snare heads. They're made out of bulletproof material. They're Kevlar.
Yeah.
So they're you can sit there. I've never tried shooting one. I've wanted to, but I'm afraid to mess up the drum.
Now, are they still made out of wood?
Do you
or
have one with you? We could try it out.
Yeah, no, I don't. They're still made out of wood.
Are they still made out of wood?
Now there are some Pearl makes some that are Kevlar drums. They're really cool, but yeah, it'll cost you an arm and a leg to buy them.
When you say Kevlar drums, you're not talking about the part
Bulletproof material, yeah.
the part you hit with a stick.
the head.
That
Yeah,
thing's
you've got that white on the top of it, and in between there's a little layer of white on each side.
Yeah.
And then in between that's just woven Kevlar that they use for vests.
no kidding. So you can just wail on them things; they're not going to break.
For the most part.
Pearl, Ludwig, or Yamaha?
I'm a Pearl guy.
Did they just tune them different? Because I've noticed.
No.
See,
It's on how much you want to pay for them.
Yeah.
I like, for whatever reason, I love the sound of Yamahas. Now, see, I have a set of Ludwigs out in the garage, which I'm not allowed to play anymore, Fred, because all of a sudden I got married and I have a family in the house, so I'm not allowed to have that anymore.
If you start playing it, they all might leave the house, buddy.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
My old drum set was set up in Mia's room now, and the first thing that I had to do was take that thing down and put it under cover in the garage.
I'm sure we can find a video and post it on Rogan
Wait a
Radio.
minute. That's still something that hasn't made it to a yard sale item yet.
See, I still
Hey,
have
you're
it.
still getting it.
I still have
Still
it.
keeping it. You're doing good.
Do you? How does it work when you? Oh boy, I'm not sure if this is a good question to ask you. When you have, and say 5th grade, is that still when band starts 5th grade? Okay, and you have somebody that wants to learn. You want to teach, right? But you also want. Is there a way you can influence, and I'm trying to word this in a way not to put you on the spot, but is there a way to, like if somebody wants to play a trombone, and you just know there's not a chance in heck that they will ever have a chance of playing that trombone, but yet you have to kind of work with them? Is there a way that you can kind of steer them on maybe what's going to be better for them? Or because percussion would be, because some people want to play drums.
Oh, they can. They can't.
And they just don't have the time for it. They just don't have it in their brain. They just can't figure out the timing of it.
Yeah. See, that's why my wife's my middle school. She does the middle school. She's the bad guy there.
She weeds them all out by the time you guys get there, you and Jules.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
She does all the hard work, all the heartbreaking. I'm sorry,
Yeah, she's,
baby.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just not for you.
See, I got changed. I started on alto.
Did you?
Yeah, for, I don't know, 8 weeks or so. And then they were like, hey, Mr. Bailey was my 5th grade band instructor. And he said, why don't you try this? And that's what we did. And made the switch.
You know how I grew up back in Japan?
Okay.
What they did, they divide the class into sections, then we just switch the instruments.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They can pick and choose. You stay with that one. You stay with that one.
Have you ever
stay
played
with
an
that one.
alto sax upside down? Have you ever done that?
No, my daughter play alto.
Did she?
Yeah.
I still have my alto saxophone
Yeah,
from
she
Bandland,
went
actually.
she went all the way to the Marshall University.
Did
Oh,
she?
good.
She's a music major, isn't she?
She's in a jazz major, and then she got the title from All State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a fourth chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Harrison County.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harrison County band. She's done community band. All that stuff.
Yeah.
She's been there.
That's awesome. Jacob, if you're going to listen to any kind of music, can you listen to anything, or do you have a certain kind of music you like?
I can't listen to everything. I'm mainly a metal kind of guy.
Are you now?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my kind of music.
When are you talking speed metal, like Metallica metal, Van Halen metal? What kind? I mean, when you're talking about metal, what's your definition? Because I don't know what the definition of metal is these days.
Well, I've listened to Metallica.
Okay.
I love Lamb of God. Like that kind of music's my favorite.
Do you ever notice when they play how off time they can be at times? I mean, they're playing some serious junk in their off time, and you're like, how do they? This is your foot and your hands are always on the. But man, the stuff in their subconscious, how they're even doing that's amazing. Do you try to mimic that at times? Do you have a trap set at home?
No, I don't at home. My mom would kill me.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It makes a lot of noise.
You can come over here and play these drums. Chuck's not allowed to play anymore.
Hey, they're yours.
Yeah.
They're yours.
A little soundproof.
So, Tim, what about you? What do you listen to?
Everything but country.
You don't like country, really?
You're a hillbilly.
Old country, yeah. Newer stuff, no.
Well, now I agree with you.
Well,
I'll
I'm the
agree
same
with
way.
you there.
I don't listen to the new country music. For some reason, I like bluegrass music. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Bluegrass is great live, especially.
Yeah, I like bluegrass.
Because man, those now they can play it. They can rock it out.
Yeah.
They can rock it out. I wrote a song about some country song too. You want to hear it?
I can't wait to hear your country song, Chucky.
His name is Tam.
Down.
He'll listen to anything.
I love it.
But he won't listen to country.
No, he won't. His dog
Because it
died.
has banjos.
My mama died.
Bow, 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 chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, 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 chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, 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 chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, 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 down, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, bow. Tim won't listen to country.
And my dog died.
I will tell you somebody.
I wrote a song about it.
I know
Yeah.
somebody.
Okay.
Somebody who absolutely knows how to rock.
Now hold
stuff
on,
out.
you got to give me 1 second here because I know exactly where you're going.
I think maybe I know who he's talking about.
Now listen.
Jimmy, do you know who he's talking about, Jim?
I think I know.
Chad, you
I
know who
think
he's
I
talking
have a
about?
clue.
When you're talking about, there's one person that what?
The one person that can rock anything out.
Yeah.
There's one person.
Do you know who it is?
Who is it?
Vaughn Haggerty.
This Saturday, check out Vaughn Haggerty as he goes on the Bluegrass Country Tour. You can get your tickets now on Facebook at 681-222-7646. First 40 customers get a free T-shirt. I love Vaughn Haggerty. He'll play the cowbell, the banjo, the cello. Hell, he'll even play the violin. The guy rocks it and rolls it. His name is Vaughn Haggerty. This weekend on Saturday night from 7 until 9. He's also watching Star Wars. Get your tickets now from the Ticketmaster at 681-222-7646. It's Vaughn Haggerty
Live on Haggerty.
That's it. See, every time. Here's the deal. I got a peace out. I got a little league board meeting I got to go
All
to.
right, man. Good
bang,
job.
bang, bang. See you tomorrow night.
Vote Derek McIntyre.
Derek Jack.
48th District.
Later, loser.
November 6th, vote Derek McIntyre.
This is
How's it? It probably sounds like crap, Erica, when you don't have headphones on, doesn't it?
Yeah, she doesn't.
All she hears is
Got
a
the
bunch of
echo.
yelling. She can't hear the music or the sound effects.
Hey, Fred, what's your favorite type of music to listen to? If you're going to listen to anything.
Anything but rap.
Anything but rap.
Amen.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
but rap crap. That's
It doesn't necessarily.
You can't spell rap without crap, right?
Exactly.
Oh.
Rap spelled backward is crap.
Or forward.
Bye, D-Mac.
Or forward.
See you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night.
Derek McIntyre.
See you, brother.
Derek McIntyre.
Yeah, see, the thing is, the thing that I don't have, the thing that I have against rap, and Mama. Now, early rap, I kind of dug a little bit because it was almost sort of disco-ish, sort of kind of stuff.
I don't think
The stuff now, I think, is entirely too vulgar. I mean, it doesn't, and lyrically, maybe there's some genius there, but as far as somebody sitting around and just making beats or sampling beats the entire, there's nobody playing anything. Now, if you want to get a DJ who wants to scratch, I mean, there's a little bit of talent there. I'll give you that. Lyrically, again, that's pretty impressive. Some of these guys can just go off the top of their head and rhyme stuff. I mean, we've done that 10,000 times a night, so it is very rare.
Yeah, well, I just don't. I don't think. It's not music to me.
But there's nothing that satisfies
The
my
only
soul.
good rap to me is like Beastie Boys.
Oh, I do like Beastie Boys.
Anything after that.
I like Will Smith.
No.
I like-
That's
yeah,
it.
I like
Oh
Will
yeah,
Smith.
well, Will
That's some of
Smith.
the
Like
old
the good
80s
old
stuff.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
You don't even know. You can't spell Grandmaster Flash.
Shoot, T-O-D-D-B-E-C-K,
T-O-double-D.
boy.
What?
So tell me, a little bit more what's going to happen. Tell me, so you're going out there. You have this big competition between all these different. Do you know how many schools or drumlines are going to be out there yet? A bunch.
They're all looking at me. We got our brackets here the other day, so we kind of know who we're going up against, and we're in our bracket right now. There's a total of 4 of us in our bracket. No, there's 6 of us on our bracket.
Okay.
And once we go until you lose. There used to be a losers bracket, but there's so many schools that are involved now that once you're done, you're done. Well, luckily we go up against our first bracket is a Christian school. It's a Catholic school out of either Cincinnati or Columbus. And then we're up against Cutting Edge Drumline, which won it last year. They're an all-adult group. It'd be like us going up against the Steelers in football. I mean,
Right.
it's no holds barred. A couple years ago, there was a high school went up against Ball State University, so it's a free for all.
So it is absolutely a free for all.
It is.
It's not just
Yeah,
this
so
is
it's not- they don't like group like high schools together.
This
no.
is
college
this,
together.
Well, okay, so now you've set me straight because for whatever reason I was thinking this was a high school thing.
no,
this is a drumline thing.
This is a drumline thing.
So it could be the steel band or whatever the drumline is that the Steelers have. I mean, those.
It could be. There's trying to think of them. Grambling, University. They've had some groups there, but Ball State was there, or Ball State University was there last year, and that was the big. And there was another university out of Cincinnati there last year. There was 2 college groups there last year.
What's that drum line out of? Is it Sweden or Norway?
Oh yeah, I know the one. I've seen them on YouTube.
Listen, they are something,
Yeah.
man. They put on a show. They put on a show.
Yeah, they really do.
They're
a good group.
Yeah, and I always love it. Because I'll get on YouTube and I'll watch this stuff, and there is nothing better than watching battles, or when you have a percussion section in time I mean, just nailing it. I mean, there's nothing sweeter than that. So you could have 12 snares, and when you hear one snare, when you have 12 of them there, that's perfection because you don't hear anything else. It sounds like one guy playing.
I mean,
they're so perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's great, man. So
now, what I don't get is, and I was never in a band, never was musically inclined or anything like that. But you guys walk around, you got 4 drums all lined up in front of you. And
that's
I'm
with
sure,
the quads.
Okay, I'm sure they all have a different tone, right?
Yeah.
So then y'all do this drumline battle stuff, right? You flip your drums out of the way. You start playing on somebody else's drums. Everything's backwards.
Yeah.
How do you keep it straight?
You've just got to turn your brain around.
Yeah, I'm out.
I have enough problem keeping my brain on right, let alone turning the daggone thing. That kind of stuff, I just cannot wrap my head around how you guys can keep that stuff straight.
You just sit there. A lot of us just practice repetition, developing that muscle memory of knowing where everything is backwards, and then turning it around the other way. It's a lot of it's muscle memory.
That
flip
right
your
there
brain
is
around,
just,
basically.
That right there is amazing enough to me. I just sit back and enjoy the show. That's all I can possibly.
With the stuff you guys are playing now, going off what Chad said, the stuff you guys are playing now, which is very on the scale of what I would consider novice to pro.
Yeah.
But it's complicated. It's very complicated, and there's because there's so much stuff going on that you have to do physically and in your brain that you can't really think about it. You almost have to just do it so many times. I mean, how long when you pick up sticks and you learn a new song, say like this year's set for the halftime show, all right? As much as it can be the same, at the same time it's going to be completely different. How long does it take you before you guys as a group, as a percussion section, gel together?
Oh, man. Well,
I'll let you know when it happens.
Or that's what I mean. Do you ever? Because you have your basses doing their lines, and you.
We have our moments, but I don't know. It takes a while, a lot of practice. Like Chano said, a lot of repetition for us to really just lock in together.
Do you get on each other pretty good when you start messing up? Or you're like,
yeah.
"Will you come on? What's wrong with you, dude?"
Yeah, we run a lot of laps.
I bet you do. So it does take a little bit of while then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I mean, not only do they have to learn what they need to learn to play on the field for the crowd, right? And then you got halftime and all that. But now you guys, when you guys are going out there to compete against these other bands, these other drum lines, that has nothing to do with what you're playing out there on the field. You know what I mean? Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Because you have like a whole different set of, because like the way I have it envisioned, I've seen the movies. You'll have this one drum line. They're just going, and then you come back, right?
Yeah, that's
and then
exactly
they come
what
back,
it is.
and back and forth and back and forth. So you have to have this in your head too, and you all have to be on the same. So I guess it would be like like football, for instance. You know what I mean? You have all these different plays, and the quarterback will let huddle and tell everybody, all right, then we're going to do this one, and then you do it. So I mean, I guess it kind of sort of like that. You know what I mean?
Very much so. We'll go up. We each have two minutes. It's we never know who's going to go first. It's the flip of the coin. They play 2 minutes. We play 2 minutes. They play 2 minutes. We play 2 minutes, and somebody will get their arm raised, get going to the next round.
That's great.
And we're hoping to get to the last round because I want to bring home. They have this huge WWF style belt.
Yeah,
to come home with. And I was
Nice.
like, I said, if we win, I'm going to wear that to work on Monday.
That's what's
I'm
funny.
going to wear Crocs in the belt.
I've seen them things on Facebook here lately. They're starting to move away from trophies
and going with
and
the
they're going with like a title belt.
Yeah. Trophies are getting a bad name anymore.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
When you play drums, do you guys have to compose you guys' own pattern, the rhythm, or is there certain criteria you have to include in that?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Like I say, when you're going over to Indianapolis this week, can you just do whatever you want, or are there certain things that you have to demonstrate or have to play?
A lot of it is showmanship. They say, this is what we'd like to see. They want to see a lot of the rudimental drumming and some of the rest of that stuff. But we had to send everything out that we were doing to make sure nothing that we were doing was copywritten by anybody else or anything like that. But for the most part, it's a free for all. A couple of our things was written by some kids from the WVU drumline. The Grandma's Inheritance, which is one of the cadences that we're going to play out there, was written by some guys from the WVU drumline. We're going to do, which we've only got to do twice, the drum break that we did for the halftime show this year. We're including that. That's one of our competition things that we're going to go up where that's going to be our grand finale when we get to see, Nexus or Cutting Edge Core.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing though when you think, because if you're like me, you're never right. You can make the
You're
best.
married.
I'm just like you, man. I'm exactly like you.
But like, say if you're playing something, if you like do a video or whatever your passion is, if you are satisfied with what you do, you're wrong. Because it can always be better, and you always know. Like, say with this time, you guys will go over there and you'll nail it. However, you'll see something that'll make you strive for next year or in the next year and the next year, because somebody's always coming. And that's the beauty of it, is that when you get into these kind of competitions like that, especially if it's a drum line, because you know what, it's all about, it's who can play the fastest, who can play the craziest stuff. I mean, it's all, and you watch that every time. Like, to this day, if I go up to Morgantown to watch a football game, the only thing that matters to me is the boogie. That's it. You get past the 2 minutes to where they come out, the drum line comes out and they get to the 50-yard line. After that, don't care about anything else I see. That's the
total cadence.
That's the only thing that is the only. And in some years it's really great, because I mean my favorite's probably mid-80s. But then they get kind of crazy with it at times, where I can't really hear what they're doing because of the acoustics of things. But after that, because I'm like, man, no, that's good stuff. And the Mountaineer Band, their drum line is crazy good. I mean, they're fantastic. But then they go up against somebody, they'll see somebody else, and you're like, oh wow. Well, I thought we were pretty good. And then you know what I mean? And that constant striving drummers have.
Oh,
that.
You're always stealing stuff from somebody.
Yeah,
you
see something, then you incorporate that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, that we're doing it. Yeah, we steal stuff all the time.
And it's when you get a good group together, like right now, you guys have a good group. Well, for the last, as long as I've been listening to you, probably for the last at least 5 years, how it doesn't seem. I'm not listening to it as a student, say Fred is or you guys are, but. Everything is in so much time that it's so clean that it's like, wow, because that's kind of odd. You're talking about somebody that's only been playing maybe 2 to 6 years, maybe 4 to 5 years at best. And the group is gelled so good together. And that's a testament to you guys. It's a testament to the channels for bringing everybody together like that. The entire band's like that. But it's so good to hear it, because it's so hard and it's so unique. People think you just pick up an instrument and you just go play it and blah, blah, blah.
No, that's what I do.
That's just an hour a day in your class. Yeah.
I just blow in it.
Listen, I'm going to say this. Fellas, I am going to say this because
They've
I'm going
been
to
on their best behavior.
I am
tonight.
because normally
I've held my tongue several times.
Yes. And Fred knows where we're going. Normally we would fly out with something very bad, and you know how you guys bust each other's. You get onto each other. Yeah. See, Todd just gave us a home run, but because
you can't do nothing about it, what I mean?
We can't do it.
That's okay.
We've been very good tonight.
Yeah. There's been a lot of doors
Olivia
open.
said she wants to come sing for us one night.
Yeah, and I give it a little heart thing. I think she should.
Well, that's great.
Yep.
Good.
If she'll
Let's
bring
have Olivia in
pizza,
here.
do you think she'll bring pizza?
Maybe that's the rule.
That's the only reason Todd wants
We
to
didn't
do
bring
it.
pizza.
We used to bring pizza all the time.
How many? How many?
Lasagna,
How many?
hot dogs.
Okay, hold on. How many seniors do you guys have in the drum line this year?
3.
3. So Fred, you're going to be set up pretty good for next year
yeah.
then.
What grade are you guys in? We never did ask you that.
We're seniors.
both
Oh, you're both
seniors.
seniors.
Yeah.
Here,
Oh,
Todd.
very good.
Yeah.
Going
I
out with
wasn't
a
here,
bang.
so.
Yeah, we're talking about going to college earlier. Where you were at?
Well, yeah, I tell you,
Well, I know
You never
Timothy
went.
shaved his beard off, so he's got this little baby face
That
going
is
on.
true.
thing.
That
I've
is
Wait a
always
minute, you
had
had
a
a
baby
beard
face.
going on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
hey,
come
listen,
on.
it's no shave November, bro. You don't have to shave no more.
Starting it fresh.
Oh, I see. Well,
How-
you want to look good when you go down there to.
How old are you now? 17?
I'm 18.
18?
Yeah.
And you had a beard that you had to shave off your face.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I still can't grow a beard
Yeah,
on my
I
face.
I was
Shaving
all
since
I could
freshman
get.
year.
You'll have a beard in the morning. Be quiet.
Huh. Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Uh-huh.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're getting excited for this. You're going to videotape this, Fred?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Good. 'cause
Yeah,
I
I'm
wanna
not a
watch
big Facebook fan, but it'll be on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it on YouTube too. Yeah.
That would mean I'd have to create a YouTube.
Do you need any cameras?
Hmm?
Do you have plenty of cameras?
Just my cell phone. I'm sure we'll have.
That thing's a pretty fancy camera.
Oh, and if you go to, they'll have professionals there. If you go to YouTube and go to Drumline Battle, you'll be able to see some of the past groups there that are performing. They'll have they do it right down there.
Who are you most scared of? Are you guys? Is this your first time there? Or
We're going to be, as from what I can check, we're going to be the first group ever from West Virginia there.
Really? Well, that's fantastic. Are you scared? Are you of not so much? Are you afraid of having? Tell me. I mean, I'm not going to even ask you the question. Are you afraid? It's going to be easy enough to answer.
There's
Tell me.
girls watching. Don't say
You
you're
know,
scared.
the first thought of it was, yeah, I am, but it's going to be great either
You're not
way.
scared. You're
Think
not
about it like this:
scared.
if we lose, then we get to sit down and watch. So.
Yeah,
but you're not going to lose, so you're going to.
Yeah,
be
we're
busy.
not.
Nah,
But,
you're going to come home with
Don't
that
go
great
into
big
it
giant
that
belt.
attitude.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Maria Espino says that she's going to bring us pizzas.
Yeah.
Thank you,
her
Maria.
Mom
Okay.
said that. Yeah, she did.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified.
Are you?
You're not terrified.
I'm not gonna lie.
Poor Jack Mac.
It'd be all right.
Do you have nicknames for everybody?
Yeah.
So there's Jack Mac. We know that.
What's your name? What's your nickname?
Oh God,
He's got a bunch.
a lot of them.
Keep it clean.
Slim Tim? No shaved beard Tim?
The cleanest one is Timmy Thick.
Timmy
Timmy
Thick.
Timmy
Not even
Thick.
going to ask.
Nope.
Listen.
It was the
I
thick
don't
beard.
want to know either.
The thick beard. Big thick beard.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Sure.
Very good,
thick
man.
beard.
I think you guys will do very well. But I appreciate you guys coming in, man.
Oh yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Okay, first of all, let's get off percussion for a second. How you doing in school?
Great.
GPA. Do you guys have GPAs anymore? Is that a thing?
Of course they do.
No, but I know
It's like from 0 to 100 though now.
Right.
But what's besides we're going to keep music out of it because that's obviously a passion. But besides music is a class that you most associate with music spurs your brain, obviously. What's another class that you're taking that also gives you that same sort of interest to where it's just it's something to work out that it's almost musical in your brain?
See, mine was study hall.
Okay, that's great, but we're going to talk about them.
Anatomy.
Anatomy?
Anatomy. Yeah.
Anatomy. Female.
I love history. Like that's my
I do
favorite. subject.
too. Yeah.
History's good. I like history.
Fred, did you ever have anything more than music that you were really passionate about?
Recess.
Yeah.
You're a lot with Todd.
Heck
Todd's the
yeah.
same way.
Don't forget about lunch.
That's right.
Oh, lunch is
That
one
was
of
You guys
my
are
favorite.
good
That's me
singers?
and there.
Yeah.
And
Or
there.
going
Hey.
home.
They're saying you
That's
guys are good
offensive.
singers.
See, she's already learning this word.
Why is me
That's offensive.
Why?
Everything that I
That is
do.
offensive.
What's
See what I
offensive?
mean?
What,
We
who
don't
said
even
what?
have a fence around this yard, Mia. Why are you talking about fences for?
We do have a fence, and it's kind of tore apart from when this building got put in, and the fence hasn't got put back up yet.
But what is offensive?
He said that our favorite thing was lunch.
Oh.
He's
So
calling
it's
us
not
fat.
So
No,
then what is
he's
your
calling us
favorite thing?
fat.
Now, see, that's where y'all
Yeah.
take it to the next level.
They
and
do,
trying
right,
to
Chad?
interpret.
Yep.
No, that's what it was.
So then what's your favorite thing if it's not lunch?
The mornings where you just sit and do nothing.
Okay,
Okay.
so lunch.
So
So
breakfast.
lazy,
No, that's
lazy
not
time.
lunch.
The
Yeah.
period's waiting for lunch.
Breakfast.
No.
Okay.
Those are
How you
boring.
liking so far? This is your first year. You're a freshman over at
Of
Lincoln.
high school?
Yeah. How's
you-
high school treating?
And you're playing tenor saxophone.
Yeah.
How you liking that so far?
I suck at playing it.
Do you?
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't
don't
matter.
think so.
It doesn't matter.
Hey,
Do
you
you
know what?
like it?
Yeah,
Hey,
I like
That's
it.
all that matters.
Let me tell you something about.
I got advice for you. Practice every night. Every night.
Let me tell you something.
At home.
Fred and
That's
I,
right. That's
Fred
right,
and I,
Bruce.
Fred and Julie and myself have been friends for a long time. So much, in fact, that just a couple weeks ago, Mia, they were doing me a favor. I was like, Fred, is she a good tenor player? He goes, I'm going to do you a favor. During the national anthem, I'm going to let her play a solo right before that.
You know what?
So
That's a good
right
idea.
before,
I remember that.
Yep.
This happened.
Because we're sitting there at the Lincoln High School watching this thing, and right before they play the national anthem, I hear a goose get squashed. And I was like, I guarantee, because I know that was a tenor saxophone, guarantee that was Mia.
It was.
And it turned out that it was. Thanks, Fred, for that, man. I owe you one. I ow you one. That was Mia's solo.
Was it just
pretty
like one
nice.
little like
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
wait a minute. So they're saying
didn't
that
play the
Jacob
rest
and
of the
Tim are
time.
great singers.
What? You guys are singers.
Who said that?
Karaoke, maybe.
Who said that?
So you're singers.
Olivia.
We haven't done karaoke in a while.
They've also been
Just
in like
saying.
lead roles in the play. That's
What?
As long as it wasn't Romeo and Juliet, man, I'm in.
And one of you guys with Juliet, that wasn't.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You know?
No, do you guys remember the play Grease they performed last year?
Wait. Lincoln High School has like a drama thing where they do plays. and stuff?
Yeah.
Every year.
I never saw
Where
this.
have you been, Todd?
I graduated.
year.
It's only been 30 years since I graduated.
No, but they put it everywhere. When they want people to come watch it.
Listen, no one ever. I'm so. Why you two?
What?
Next time I want to know.
Okay, well, they're
I
doing a
told
play
you,
this year.
I swear,
are?
I told you
Yeah.
about it last
What's
year.
this play? Do you know what this play is this year? Because I will come and watch it. The wife, because you know what? The wife and I.
You
we
know
go to-
what? The whole Rogan
The
Radio
wife?
crew needs to show
You
up
know what?
and
You're
watch it.
absolutely
I think
right.
they're doing
Definitely.
7 Brides for 7 Brothers
Yeah.
this year.
7 brides for 7
Yeah,
brothers.
this was our group from Greece last year.
Yeah.
Which one of you was Danny?
Yeah.
That one.
Danny. Danny Zuko.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta do it now.
Right there on the TV screen. Here we go.
Karaoke.
Right in the microphone now.
Summer loving had me a blast. Summer loving happened so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy, cute as can be.
Summer days drifting away to on a summer night.
Oh, well.
Tell me more.
Come on. Come on, Jacob.
Tell me more. She's from by me.
She got a cramp.
He went by me. Got my suit damp. I saved her life.
She nearly drowned.
He showed off, splashing around. Summer sun.
You sound like you make too much sense.
On a summer night. Oh, well.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Sounds like he
Oh,
is bunker.
gee. Oh, gee.
Tell me more.
Listen, let me tell you something. Timothy, you daggone well, you were freaking Danny, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dang.
man.
Todd's
You had your
probably-
Singer.
Wait, I want to hear Todd go one more solo real quick.
No, that's all right.
Todd sounded
Come
like
on,
he's
That was
John.
Todd down there.
Drink lemonade.
We made out under the dark.
We stayed out till 10 o'clock.
Summer fling don't mean a thing. On a summer night. Oh, well.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
All
Don't
right.
gotta brag.
You know,
Hey,
believe it or not, that's how he works.
that was
too.
so much fun. I do it at work too, don't I?
I do-
Oh,
you do it at
yeah. I
work.
love
The
singing at
sad
work.
part about that is when you were saying, oh, well, you sounded like a waka.
waka.
Like Ozzy Bear.
When he
Well-
was singing the girl part, he sounded like he smoked too much cigs.
I was doing the Michelle started a little New Jersey accent down there, so I was kind of got inspired.
Archie.
Archie, can you get me another beer, Archie?
Have you guys, what is one thing when you hear Fred and Julie talk about that you have no clue what it is? Like, say, we're talking about All in the Family. But when I talk to the girls, or I'll bring up Happy Days, or I'll bring up something like that. They have
Olivia Newton-John the other night.
I love
Olivia-
Olivia Newton. I was in a
Erica.
fan club. I was in.
Newton-John.
I was in
I
her.
knew who she was.
So Erica comes in and she has a headband on. She's wearing her little running outfit.
It was cold. I was going for a run. I didn't want my ears to get worse than they already were.
Yeah, she was being.
That's right.
Very conscious about her
So
health.
she walks into the house. She comes up to the door and I'm like, "Whoa, it's Olivia Newton-John!" And she looks at me like,
Who?
"Who?" I was like, "Olivia Newton-John."
Who's that?
She goes, "What, a serial killer? Because they always come in 3 names." I'm like, "No, not a serial killer." It's like, it's Olivia Newton-John.
I was in my room.
I was like, Olivia Newton-John.
You're
Newton-John.
always in your room.
I was like, Erica,
True.
she invented gravity. Newton-John.
Get it?
I
she
knew
believed
did
you.
not fall for that one.
Didn't fall for it. Gravity. I guess you did.
So
Cringy. That was the worst thing I've ever heard. Ever.
Eva.
Ever.
I don't know. I thought it was a good dad joke.
Yeah.
I mean, that
was
was
good. Yeah, that was good.
Todd Beck officially became a teenager.
Eva.
Okay, so once again, you guys are going on the 17th?
Yep.
over to Indianapolis. You're going to be competing with drum lines from all across the country, probably even. Or is it?
It's an international conference. It's an international clinic or conference that's down there, but I don't think there's going to be any international drum lines will be competing.
Is there a way? Is there anything online that you can watch in real time as things are going on? Do you know of?
I'm sure they're streaming it somewhere. I'd have to find it. I'm not sure where, but I know if you go to the PASIC website, SPASIC, they've got all kinds of. It's a good website. They've got stuff all over it. I'm sure they're live streaming it somewhere.
And if you're a parent right now and you have maybe a child that is maybe you either want to get into music, you see somehow that they're musically inclined. Fred, tell us. I mean, as a recruitment. Because it starts at 5th grade again. I mean, because I know this. One thing that I love about being near the band is that it's such a tight group, and they might. It's almost like family.
It is a family.
And what I really like about it is that you can fight. Like, say, we can fight in our family, but somebody else from outside the family gets involved.
It's ugly.
Look out! Listen, because all of a sudden I'm putting because it's such a tight group.
Yep.
And you'll take that stuff to this day. Since I graduated in '89. All of these years later, my best friends or who I grew up with in those 5 years, specifically in those 4 years, because it's hell. Drumline, and we had to go through band camp. It was all this going Forest Festival. Then we had it was all this stuff, which was just a nightmare. Those times we had this big wool. We had these big wool outfits.
Oh, I remember those quite well.
Oh my goodness, they beat you up. And to this day, we laugh about that stuff, and we love it. And my best friendships came out of band. And it's amazing like that. Just how, for whatever reason, it's just like it is absolutely. It's a family. It absolutely is a family.
I thought your best friendships came out of RoganRadio.
Same.
That's where we lose them.
No kidding. I was trying to think of something smart,
No,
but I
our
can't.
family's
those are called
growing here,
cellmates.
The truth comes out.
Yeah, your cellmate's always your best friend. We're growing here at RoganRadio.
But that was your girlfriend.
But so, Fred, give us for anybody that's listening now, or somebody that might be thinking, because you don't have to start. See, that might be a misconception. Also, is that you don't have to be in 4th grade going into 5th grade. You could, if you're a sophomore, well, you might be a little bit behind the curve per se, but it's not like you can't get. If you really appreciate music and you want to be in music, you can absolutely do that.
Yeah, well, Jack back here, for example, he was homeschooled up until he came to high school.
Really?
Yeah.
And he came in, he was a cymbal player, so he started out from scratch, all starting everything in the high school.
I had never really played music until freshman year, actually.
No kidding. And 4 years later.
Yep.
Wow. Did you ever think that was going to happen?
No.
Because it's complicated.
I did not want to do band freshman year, but my mom forced me to go to drumline tryouts, and here I am. I loved it.
Thank you, Mom.
How about
That's
that?
what I say.
How about that?
Your parents are always right. Always right. You hear that?
Sooner or later they will be. It might not be when they tell you something.
Yeah.
Not when one of them is sitting next to you.
No.
Or not when mom said that she needs a passport to go to Hawaii.
Well,
yeah, that's
well, okay.
Anyway,
that's
Fred,
our show.
Okay. Anyway, Fred, continue about getting people involved with music.
That's a good question. I was one. I didn't start until I was a sophomore in high school, and everybody where I went, I'm a Calhoun boy, so I was in Calhoun high school, and everybody did choir there. I mean, we had Charlie Miller was the choir director, and there was probably 400 kids in the school, and we had about 200 in choir. Everybody did choir. I was a basketball player. I went up to Gil Callis basketball camp every summer. I set the bench on the football team. And sophomore year, he said, one of my best friends, he's a drummer, Brian Hip, he said, "You ever think about doing the drum line?" I said, "No, I don't want to do the drum line." "Why would I want to do the drum line?" He said, "I want you to think about this." He said, "After the game, we're back behind the buses making out with the hottest girls in the school." A light bulb went off.
Said, "Give me a drumstick."
I was on the snare line the next year.
Did you actually start out on snare?
Yeah. I came in, I practiced, didn't know a whole lot about what I was doing. Band director said, "Man, you've got some good hands." I was like, "I can't read a note." He said, "Play what she plays." And that's one of the reasons why I'm not like one of the, it doesn't matter if the talent's there. We'll take you.
Right.
We'll teach you, because I was one of those. Play what she plays. I said, okay, I can do that. I couldn't read a note of music until I was a senior in high school.
Listen to this, and it's funny, and that's why I asked this question earlier, because I was in all-county band when I was a senior. Now, I'm a senior, and I could not read music. Now, for whatever reason, I could when I played saxophone, but when I went to percussion, I lost it for whatever, because I would listen, and it just sort of came natural, because we didn't do any crazy kind of stuff. All-county band, this was actually at Lincoln High School. They had their concert. And I was playing timpani. I can't even remember the song, but I was on timpani. Timpani, not only did I have to try to figure out the tune, the key on each drum, right? But I also had to figure out the rhythm. So, and I would always listen for that part. If you would teach me, if you would sit down and say, okay, play this at this time, listen, I'd nail it. If you're going to sit there and make me count bars and then sort of somehow tune it and everything else, tuning it's not the problem. When to tune it and getting it all ready, couldn't do it. But I can remember they had this entire county concert, or this band, when we were practicing. I think the first was at Liberty when we had our first practice. And it was my turn, okay? It was my turn to do my little solo on the timpani. Silence. Okay, let's start over. The band director starts it over. 16 majors, whatever. Comes to me again, looks at me like, I swear to God, I had no idea. Phil Wyatt came over and said, listen, dude, and I was his kid at that time, and Mr. O Mr. O was still, but Phil was doing over at the middle school, if I'm not mistaken. This was when there was actually a middle school in Shinston, and then Mr. Way was over in Lumberport. Anyhow, long story short. So he came out. He took me in the room because his wife was doing that stuff also. She was a percussionist, and she taught me. She just basically went ba 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 ba, and then it nailed it after that.
It's amazing what an older woman can teach you.
Yeah, it is. But listen, listen, this isn't The Graduate. This is actually this. But it's kind of funny because when it's amazing to me the talent though, because a lot of people get frustrated when they look at sheets of music, or even when it comes to computer programs or whatever. If somebody would just take the time to show you, and that's what I love about you and Julie, because you'll take that time. It's just like, well, you can't read music, so there's nothing I can do with you. Sorry about that. When you know from personal experience, no, you can appreciate music, you can play anything. You just maybe have to learn it in a different way, and maybe not necessarily 2 + 2 is 4. If you see 2 + 2 = 4, you can do it that way. You know what I mean?
If you couldn't read music, then how did you play? Do you improvise the whole thing, or did you just memorize the whole thing? Because yes, one or the other, right?
When I started playing, for whatever reason, I could play perfect notes and I could read music I played piano. Before I went to before 5th grade, I learned on piano, and then I started playing alto sax, and I could read music, but I got lazy when I became a percussionist because it wasn't anything. It was a completely different deal because I was just playing snare drum. It was just a different deal, and then I lost it. Then it was like all of a sudden I became this stud where I didn't have to learn music anymore because I thought I was Phil Collins playing a trap set. So much, in fact, that I even turned my trap set around because Phil always played it backward, well, right-handed or left-handed, whatever. So then I actually even tried to mimic that and played it backwards. It didn't work, but then I tried it. Thanks, Jim.
That was actually Chuck playing that right there.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's I really enjoy the fact of what you guys are doing with the Lincoln High School band and the invigoration. You can see that. I know from the girls how excited they are, and they're so involved with things, just like with the guys that came in.
They love it.
And how good it sounds, Fred. I mean, it's just really good, and just to see their smiles when they're not playing. They're showmen on the field, but they're good people when they're not playing.
And like I said earlier, we've got great kids. I tell everybody Lincoln is the best hidden secret in the state, in the state, but especially in the county. Nobody knows what we've got going on in the backgrounds.
Right.
He just turned you
I
down.
don't know. I just turned him off. So I don't know what But yeah, no, it really is. And you guys have done a great job.
Oh, well, thank you.
And tell Julie I said hi, please.
I will do so.
Okay.
Hopefully she's home listening. I tried to get her to come down. She said, no, they don't want me. I said, yeah,
they do. Come on, Jules.
I tried to get her to come down. She said, no, I'll just be in the way.
Oh,
Julie.
Julie.
Jacob. Julie.
I do have to ask you now. I don't know if you said this earlier or not. How long have you been doing this?
I've been at Lincoln 30 years. No, I've been at Lincoln 10 years. I was at Magnolia for 16 years. So this is my 26th year, 25th year teaching.
Wow, that's a lot.
I've been.
That's a lot of kids.
Oh yeah,
learning.
It's fun. You know you're talking about kids starting out. One of the greatest joys. I know this sounds sappy and stupid, but you see a kid, you stick the drumsticks in their hands their first day when they're in 5th grade, and you sit there and you see where they're at as a senior, going, yeah,
it's amazing.
I remember that little guy right there.
I did that. It was Mac, my son. I'm going to brag on him for a second since I can. Unless you're going to mute me down there. I remember starting out because, we always had a drum set set up. See, I get to keep my drum set set up in my house. It's in my son's bedroom above
Julie's a much better wife than you, Michelle.
Hey. We just don't
Someone's
have
on the
room.
couch.
There's nowhere to put
Anyway,
it.
There's always room for a
In the
drum
living
set.
room.
Absolutely.
There's always room for a drum set. But, sitting there watching him from day one, picking up a set of sticks, and he played this Chop Diskovich piece on his senior recital, and the guy got a hold of him that wrote it from, I think he's out in California now, might be wrong on that. But he said, he was telling Mac, I guess there's only been 10 people ever play it, and he was sitting there playing this, and if this gets out and he hears this, I'm denying it, I was under some type of influence. He's sitting there playing stuff I couldn't play on my best day ever as a percussionist. He's sitting there doing these flips over, and I was like, yeah, that's impressive. I remember when I could do that. Never.
No doubt.
Never.
Because Mac's really good.
Oh, Mac, yeah, he's
very good. And I'm going to ask you one more question,
Okay.
then we'll shut it down. Where did your influence come from? Where did it start for you?
I was a freshman, and Don Hip came up and said, hey, the drummers are getting the hottest girls.
But I mean, did you have like
No.
did you have an
He keeps coming
inclination?
back
Of,
to that.
No.
You never ever thought about music or playing before that at all. That was the day.
That was the day, and then I started drumming at that point. Got to a senior. Dad, it was always, what college you going to? Where, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice, and got to a senior. I was like, man, this is the only thing I'm really good at. And Dad said, then do it.
So how bizarre is it? What turns out to be a very funny story. In actuality, you had no idea you had this talent, and that was legit. That's where it all started.
It all started with girls. Not just girls, the hot girls in our school.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We'll have you on next week, and then we'll talk about those.
See, Todd. That's why Todd joined the band. Except the only problem is he went to an all-boys school.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
Thanks, Jack.
That
was not funny.
You can't say that. I can't take that. I have to take that back because it's 2018. We can't say stuff like that.
No,
anyway,
we can't.
Tim and Jake.
Me too, Chuck. Me too.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thanks for having us.
And you know what? Good luck, and keep us up to date. Anytime we need to set the trap up or something, and you guys can play, and we'll do a karaoke thing. Listen,
Sweet.
Tim, you can sing. Jacob, you can play.
Can you sing and play together?
In the summer.
Ooh, hold on. That would be a
Get
heck
a
of
whirl.
video.
And in the making.
Yeah. Mia, Erica, thanks for coming in yourselves. And it's
You're
not very
welcome.
often we get to see you.
Yeah, like never.
Nothing. Thanks for Derek for coming in. Darren, he has a little medical deal going on tomorrow. On behalf of Bruce Takahashi, straight from Japan, Chapuccio from Mononga, Chapupupupuccio.
Hello.
Fred and Julie Channel over there, just fantastic all the way around. I just love you. Thanks for coming in, man.
Hey, thanks for having us.
From Michelle Rogan from Webster Springs, Webster County, West Virginia. Jimmy Wiz from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh.
And Todd Beck, the best guy Frank could have, the Chewbacca of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, until next week, you have been listening to Rogan Radio.